Favor?
Aye.
3, discuss resolution of opposition to a variance request for 18111 South Harlem Avenue, Tinley Park. Ben Namia, petitioner. Jennifer, you want to talk about that?
Thank you. Yes, the Community Development Department received a notice from Cook County because the property is within a 1.5 mile of our jurisdictional review, and it is completely surrounded by the Village of Tinley Park's corporate limits. Therefore, the village can weigh in on any request of a variation, in this case for a lot width reduction to reconstruct a home that was previously on the property that was destroyed by fire. In addition, they need a front yard setback variation. Due to the pending redevelopment of the vacant Tinley Park Mental Health Center directly west of the property, the village is trying to control and redevelop Harlem Avenue, and therefore these properties that are kind of orphaned per se, surrounded by the village but not incorporated, we'd like to see these properties eventually come into the village and have the ability to incorporate them in the comprehensive plan. It's for these reasons, along with the issues outlined below, that we would like to contest this variation at Cook County by the passage of a resolution by the village board. We strongly oppose the requested variations for several reasons. Connection to municipal utilities. The surrounding area has similar residential lots that were developed in Cook County in the 20s and 30s, and many of these properties have already annexed to the village under the R1 zoning district. As part of the long-range plan for Cook County and the EPA, the goal has been to annex these orphan parcels and connect them to municipal services. Curb cuts. In addition, the current land pattern for the unincorporated parcels in this area includes multiple curb cuts for residential lots on Harlem Avenue, which is divided 4-lane state highway and federal aid urban route. This land pattern is contrary to the state's best management practices. Front yard setback. The village is opposed to this petitioner's request for a front yard setback variation for several reasons. Being located on a major commercial corridor and heavily traveled street, the proposed 20-foot setback is inadequate regardless of the property's use. As a residential use in the village is R1, the front yard setback is a minimum of 40 feet. There's an existing septic field. The village understands that there's a septic field and accessory structure on the site. However, these structures were accessory to the principal building and should not be the basis for granting variations for new principal structures. In summary, the village does not support the variation request for the reasons stated above, and the village does not believe that the proposed front yard setback has met the statutory standards for a variation. So what we'd like to be able to do is have a resolution approved by the village board and present it at tomorrow's Cook County hearing for this variation, and see if we can maybe eventually talk to this property owner and maybe get them into the village's municipal boundaries.
Do you have any questions? Need any action from us on this right now? Or?
Well, it's on the board agenda.
Yeah, okay. Make a motion to bring this to the board agenda this evening. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Receive comments from the public in regards to the committee of the whole meeting. Anything? Let the record.
This is my time, I'm not sure. But anyways, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Barbara Moore, a longtime resident of Tinley Park who truly loves this village. I'm excited about the project's plans for downtown Tinley, although I have some concerns, and tonight I want to share that with the board and the trustees. The concerns are about the Bremen Station proposal that will be on the table, I believe, tonight. Is it? I don't know, but if it isn't. Anyways, first, what I was reading in the paper is that it's planning to be a 5-story complex, which is really too much. It just doesn't fit, and should only have no more than 4 stories. It is not only overbearing, but it would be obnoxious and does not work with the total look of the downtown corridor. Second, this project is to attract young people who commute to Chicago, and for those older residents, as myself, who will be downsizing, would love the idea of living in the hub of our village, which I thought is very exciting because I think I'd like to do that myself, because I'm from Chicago originally. Therefore, it is smart to have some 3-bedroom apartments, 2.5 baths preferably, but 2 baths is okay, to attract those renters. Because it has been written that in the future that these apartments could go into condos, which I think was really great. So I think that's something that I don't know if they looked at, but it should be really concerned. Saying that, the parking availability is absolutely ludicrous. You guys, you know, this is the suburbs. It's not a metropolitan city. Everyone has cars, and parking space is a necessity. It is not a luxury. Even 1-bedrooms will have couples. An 800 square foot, there'll probably be 2 young people, and they'll have 2 cars. The 2-bedrooms will need accommodating 3 people who also own cars. And hopefully, as I really would love to see, there will be 3-bedroom/office space, and that would need at least 2 to 3 parking spaces. Downtown Tinley is already congested with residents, 8 to 9 pubs and restaurants, retail, and we're expecting to bring in more. This complex needs to withhold its own population living there with ease. Do not count on the Metro station. This is already being used by commuters during the day, and there are so many wonderful events held in year-round. And if it does go condo, it really needs to have at least 2 to 3 spots depending on the size of the unit, plus accommodating guests, out-of-town family and friends that may stay overnight. While this is being built, now is the time to do this correctly, the most economical, and you should insist on it. Remember, you are also building the boulevard at Central Station with 165 residential units in the area, plus retail space, more restaurants. As you can see, planning for this is more essential than what you're really doing. So, having more restaurants, more residents, more businesses. Think of how the businesses can be assured to have enough parking for their customers. You're not going to attract small businesses if they don't have parking for their customers. We are your constituents who voted you as trustees and entrust you to know what we are doing. And all of you are residents too. So I know you have your own concerns. This area is going to be awesome. You're planning on a park in the area that could be utilized almost year-round. And that's a lot of people. Remember, developers come in, build, and split, leaving the residents and businesses the problems like this. I'm almost done. Is that okay? I know my father was a real estate developer, and I personally helped the Beverly Arts Center built. One of the biggest problems was the parking accommodating the traffic. It is a complete disaster and has completely gone down and under. And I don't want this to happen in Tinley. We are a lively and livable area, and so what's the rush? Give yourselves a few more months to properly plan and save years of the disaster of the fiscal failures. And my last note is that I've heard that there are some requests from y'all, the trustees, about reports that have not been delivered. Therefore, like all of you should make a motion to table this project until you have the ducks in order, all questions answers to your satisfaction. Then you can move forward with questions, concerns answered thoroughly. You need complete satisfaction responses from these developers for the future of downtown Tinley's vibrant future. And you are responsible, and this is going to be your legacy. So do it right and make it count. Thank you. Thanks.
A motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting?
Can I make a quick, Barb, just to make you aware, it will not, that is not on tonight's agenda.
But at least I said it.
But yes, we'll take your,
You can think about it even more.
we'll take that into consideration, but it's not on the agenda. Thank you.
Excuse me. I've never been to a meeting, and I've been a resident of Tinley Park for 23 years. When do I get a chance to talk about the apartment complex that's proposed on South Street and the issue of the changing of the garbage? Do I wait until after 7:30?
7:30 at that meeting. You
Okay.
can talk, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. A motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting?
Second.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. I'd like to call the Public Works Committee meeting to order. I'd like to make a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the special Public Works Committee meeting held on October 9th, 2018. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Number 3, discuss change order number 1 for LED street lighting replacement Phase 2 project with Mead Electric. John, you want to talk about the grant we've got from ComEd?
Yes, sir. Thank you. As you're aware, on the June 12, 2018 board meeting, we awarded a contract with Mead Electric to replace approximately 250 streetlights. After acceptance of that, we received a grant which allowed for us to put funding towards the additional streetlights. We are requesting 123 additional streetlights to be added to that scope. This would allow us to increase that scope to 375 approximate streetlights, and this cost would be in the amount of $130,000, $641.03. Asking for that approval for the change order with Mead Electric for the Phase 2 project.
I'd like to make a motion to add that to the agenda tonight. Do I have a second? Bill? Second. All in favor? Aye. Number 4, discuss plat of dedication for street right-of-way at the southwest corner of 183rd Street and Oak Park Avenue. Brad?
Thank you. Yes, one of the final projects of the Oak Park Avenue TIF is to put a multi-use path along the south side of 183rd Street and along the west side of Oak Park Avenue. And with the design of that project, the engineers have identified that we needed a little small triangle of about 163 square feet. I've contacted the owner of the property who is willing to donate that parcel to us. The most efficient way to handle that transfer of that property is through a plat of dedication and basically add it to the adjacent roadway right-of-way. So we have on the agenda tonight the ordinance to accept that dedication.
Any questions of that? If not, I'd like to make a motion to add that to the agenda. Do I have a second, Bill?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Receive comments from the public in regards to the Public Works Committee meeting. Anyone? Records show there's none. Do I have a motion to adjourn the Public Works Committee meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.